Hey, welcome back. Today we have the Rare and Rusty Fusion with a stick shift, and it is, of course, very rusty. This thing has a bad thermostat in it, and of course, Ford in their infinite wisdom buries it down in a place where you can barely even see it or reach it. So we're going to have to install it. I'm probably going to pull the power steering pump out of the way to get down to it. So let's get started on that. Okay, we're going to have to remove the belt here. The belt tensioner is down over there. So you could gain access in the wheel well by removing that little side cover. You got those little plastic clips on it, and then you can get over there and release the tension on that. All right, with that cover off, you could see the belt tensioner. It's all the way on the bottom. So this is a 15 millimeter. That'll fit right on there. And then we're going to use a ratchet to pry down on that to loosen up the belt. Check under the hood. Make sure you have a little diagram of how this belt runs, because if you lose the locations of which pulley it goes on first, you might get a little stuck. So if not, make a little diagram up of where everything is going. Now with a ratchet that flexes, you're able to put some tension on it, and there's a convenient little notch in the frame over there. I don't know if they did this on purpose, but I have the ratchet releasing the tension on that so the belt could come off, and then I could come back later and just pop that off when the belt is all lined up. So we'll leave that sitting there right now. I can pull the belt off over here. I'll leave it sitting, and we'll be able to get the top one off a little bit easier and move that power steering pump. And it should be released just enough that we could squeak this belt off. There are three 10 millimeter bolts that hold this thing on, and there's a little wire for that sensor on there. The bottom one, as you can see, I have an extension on it with a wobble extension at one end, and that's the third bolt. It's kind of hard to, can't even see it. You just got to feel it and put the tool onto it. Let's get this out right now. I'll show you what it looks like. All right, here's the setup I use to get the bottom bolt. I have a wobble extension on there, and before you take this thing off, crack this nut free, 17 millimeter, because you're gonna have to pull the line out of the way so you could access the pump to pull it up. So that's already breaking free. You're gonna leak a little fluid out of here, but gonna make a mess anyway. Okay, the pump is out of the way. Here is the bottom bolt. That's kind of difficult to reach. And there you could finally see your thermostat. And there's these are aftermarket clamps on here, and of course they're facing the wrong way. This car had the engine swapped in it at one point when it blew up its first motor. So I'll have to go from underneath to get those clamps undone. Okay, the clamps are loosened up. Normally these should be spring clamps. Like I said, this engine was out of the car before, so they put the worm clamps on here. Now we gotta wait for the car to finish taking a leak. Still draining. Okay, with everything drained out and the hose is off, we could get to the thermostat housing finally. There's three bolts that hold it on. Here's a new one right here. So the two you could see, and the one down over here there, you have to kind of reach around and find it and unloose it. They are 8 millimeter. Pull the housing off and then clean up the mating surface on the block so the new O-ring will seal up against it, and then you could bolt on your new thermostat. Okay, thermostat is on, the hoses are tightened up. Now we could throw our pump back in place and put the belt on. Okay, everything's bolted on. The belts are all where they need to be, and yes, I made a quick diagram where they go. So now we got to go underneath and release the tension on the tensioner. Okay, the ratchet's been holding that tensioner off, so now we can put it back on. And put that plastic cover back on and fill it up with water, and we're done. Okay, belt is on. We have to top up our power steering fluid, top up the coolant, and then we gotta degrease all the power steering fluid that dribbled around all over the place. All right, fill up your tank with coolant, and then to get it to bleed out faster, pull off this line that's going onto the throttle body. That allows coolant to start coming out. Keep pouring it in there till you see it come out there. Put the hose back on, and then run the engine longer. Now, if this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe too. That would help me out immensely. Thanks for watching. Yeah, it's a stick shift with 190,000 miles on its second motor.